Hey, I want to share with you how I've been using Notion to do my food and meal prep, which is changing my life. I have tried to do meal prepping and meal planning for at least a decade without much success. And now that I'm using Notion, I have a way to really streamline this process, and it works with my sort of digital brain because everything is in the same place. So how it works is I have this food and meal prep template, this planning workspace that my partner and I, every Sunday, we spend half an hour to an hour kind of going through and deciding what we want to eat for the week. Now, part of the reason I think meal prep didn't really work for us in the past is it wasn't really interesting, I think, working at home to always have the exact same meal every day. So it's not like we wanted to only make soups or chilies or whatever. There's still meals that I think require a little bit of prep, and I just couldn't quite figure out a system that could work that still had us enjoying the food that we were eating and not overly planning everything. So that would still leave a little bit of wiggle room. And so what I realized was I needed to find a balance between the really structured meals and some unstructured meals. So having some more versatile elements like roasted veggies, rice, tofu, etc. So the magic of this system is you've got your recipes database, and this will be built up over time. Every time we stumble upon a new recipe that we want to try, or I find something on Pinterest, I'll move it over here and add the ingredients and add the any related tags. I'll even credit who made the recipe, what type of cuisine, and that way I can refine, like let's say we want to do Mexican night, I can refine and view only recipes with that tag. So simple directions. This makes it really easy in the kitchen too to, just have your laptop out or have your phone out and really quickly be able to reference this. So I would say don't try to do this all at once. This is something that we just kind of add to over time. I'm not going to translate every single one of my favorite recipes here, but as we go and we do add them to the meal plan, I add them here. And then the beauty is that we can mention them and add them into this weekly meal plan area. And then the groceries list is this awesome master list of all of the things that we buy pretty much ever. And again, I wouldn't recommend necessarily doing this all in one go. You might already have something like this, but as we add new items, they just kind of get added to this list. And we add a frequency and a source as well. Organize them by category, so that way when you're in the store, basically the magic of this is you've got your master list, but when we're in the store, we refine this by need now. And that way I have that open on my phone. And so only what we need for this week, once we've done our meal plan, we add those items and we just check the boxes. And as we go through, add them to the cart, we remove that need now button. And so your list gets smaller and smaller as you go throughout the store. So we've got the groceries piece of it. And so we go through our recipes and we figure out, some of the things that might use the same ingredients, like maybe cauliflower. If we're going to build this sticky cauliflower, is there another recipe that also uses cauliflower that it might kind of make sense to plan together? We're not super strict about it. We're still figuring out our groove, but this has just been so helpful. And the beauty here too is that as you prep, you can actually just mention the recipes below. So if I start typing sriracha tofu mac and cheese bowl, I can type that in there, or I can just make notes about what I want to prep. So that has been so helpful. And okay, so I'll show you the real beauty of this meal plan planning table. So there's two different modes that I use to view this data and to do the planning. When we're doing the planning on Sunday, I have it in this planning table mode. But what's really cool is that you can see in calendar mode, I can see the whole meal plan for a week. So here's, the 20th to the 27th. And then basically all I've done is I've literally embedded the same database that's showing in the calendar again inside this piece of data. So it's kind of like database inception. And I'm refining it by doesn't contain meal plan and is on or before this date and or on and after this date and on or before this date. So that way you're only showing, Sunday to Saturday that are in those date ranges. because at some point, if I didn't have that filter, it's going to show all the dates, all the Sundays, all the Mondays from all of the different dates. So I just want to refine it by these dates. And if there's kind of like a signature breakfast, I can mention it here. Just say granola. There you go, granola recipe. That's a quick way to, again, just jump right to those recipes. And I'll show you what that looks like. Let's say we're going to make a new planning table for this coming Sunday. Great, so there's nothing here yet. And what I do is I say Sunday. Great, there's the date. And then we choose a breakfast. So let's say we're doing that granola. Awesome. For lunch, what do we want? Maybe we're going to do that coconut curry ramen. And I just have these as text fields. You could maybe have them as like relational database fields, but sometimes I like to put text in there too. Like, there's things that maybe aren't in the recipes database. So like just simple Brussels sprouts plus, and then maybe save the tuna salad. So I like to be able to kind of mention, just have some text and also reference the recipes as well. Any snacks that we're going to eat. And then I basically just go through and do that for every day. And sometimes we'll kind of move things around as we map out what that looks like. Monday's the 29th. Same thing. I might make a note of, chopping the veggies. But yeah, most of the work gets done on Sunday. We do, again, half an hour, 45 minutes of planning tops. We make our grocery list, and we'll just go into the grocery list as we figure out what recipes we're going to make. I jump into the original database here for the groceries and just go through and check all the items that I know that we need. And then once I go back into here, those are going to pop up under need now, which is super fun. So this whole thing has just been so insanely helpful for, saving us hours and hours and hours of time every week. Definitely keeping the kitchen cleaner because things are already ready to go. Many of you might already be very familiar and doing this meal planning stuff. So I say do what works for you. For us, this has just been a life changer. Again, just saving us so much time. It's actually really fun to do it. We look forward to it every Sunday, and we just play podcasts while we, chop and prep and make everything for the week. And we do leave a little bit of flexibility. Of course, let's go back to this week's planning table. Sometimes it doesn't work out, or we kind of change our minds, or we're not craving it or something, and we can kind of switch and move things around. And then toward the end of the week, things are a little bit more unstructured, or, we'll use up those leftovers. So yeah, I think finding this combination of planning some meals that are structured and then leaving a little bit of room for the unstructured stuff so you can kind of plug it all in kind of helps you see things at a glance. You can kind of look back and see, I really liked that one week where we had the sandwiches for lunch and, the soup for dinner, and that worked really well. And so you can actually duplicate those recipes again, basically. So I could go back to that calendar and say, let's revisit that meal plan from the 7th to the 13th. I really liked that one. So let's duplicate that one. Let's see here. I think I can do it from here. Oh, let's duplicate. Oh, I may not be able to duplicate it from here. Scratch that. I believe if I click and drag, yeah, I can make a copy, holding Alt and dragging it. So let's just move that here. Copy of meal plan. Great. And then I can adjust those dates. So that's one way to do it, is you can make a copy of a plan in the future if you want to do that. And this has just been a really helpful tool. And again, the recipes database is so much fun to work with. It's really easy to share this database with friends and just add new things as you discover new recipes. So yeah, that's how we've been doing our meal planning in Notion. Totally life-changing, so much fun to do, and really, really works for us. So hope this was helpful. Happy to answer any questions. And of course, I'm really happy to share my template if it helps you get your meal planning done better. Thanks.